Good afternoon, welcome to Four Wheels and a Seat. I'm Alex Dalrymple and this is my channel where I review new cars every week from all the big brands. You don't want to miss an episode, and to make sure you don't, please hit the subscribe button down below and give me a like if you enjoy the video. And this once again is the Mitsubishi Outlander. Today it is the LS Black Edition. I reviewed the regular LS model at the end of last year. If you want to check that video out, you can just click the link up there. What's the difference between the LS and the Black Edition? Well, there's lots of black stuff. At the front, we've got a bit more black on the grille, we've got black wing mirrors, and the 20-inch alloys are black as well. Oh, and there's a nearly $2,000 price difference. The interior is a bit more black too, but we'll come to that shortly. Otherwise, the cars are pretty much the same. I think the last LS I reviewed was actually all-wheel drive. The Black Edition only comes in front-wheel drive. But none of that diminishes from the value of this car. It is still a tremendously good buy. The Black Edition also comes as a 7-seater, so you're a little bit limited in terms of boot space with all 3 rows of seating up, just 168 litres. But if you knock down that third row, it expands to 478. The third row of seating is pretty tiny. It's really only good for kids on a short trip. The LS Black Edition gets the same engine as every other Mitsubishi Outlander, which is a Nissan-made 2.5 litre 4-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine that outputs 135 kilowatts of power and 245 newton meters of torque. Fuel economy averages at 8.1 litres per 100 kilometres. So the black also seeps into the interior as well. We've got a black headliner here and everything on the dash is black. We've got piano black inserts across the belt line here and a bit more down low. So the cabin, without a sunroof especially, does feel just a bit on the dark side. And I don't mean that as a Star Wars pun. Otherwise, the design and tech is pretty much exactly the same as the LS. So we've got this 9-inch center console screen, which runs the same very good software that you find in other models. It is so much better than the system found in other Mitsubishis. So hopefully in due course, all Mitsubishis will adopt this same system. It features wireless Apple CarPlay and native navigation. Climate control is pretty straightforward and easy to use. We've got USB-A and USB-C ports underneath that, as well as wireless phone charging and a 12-volt outlet. We've got this cool gear shifter here, which I really like. The drive mode selector, there are a few different drive modes. We've got normal, tarmac, gravel, snow, and eco. Cup holders and a okay-sized center bin, which has got a nice fake leather lid on it with a bit of stitching. Steering wheel feels a little bit plasticky, but it does the job okay. The instrument cluster, same as the LS, so we miss out on the full digital one that we get in the top spec model. We've got analog dials and a digital screen in between it here, which looks pretty good. You can cycle through a few different displays on that, nothing too radical. No maps, unfortunately. The seats are pretty comfortable. They're suede with leather inserts, they're heated, and the driver gets electric adjustment. Front passenger is manual only. Seating position, really good. Great view out the front, right to the front corners of the bonnet. Not so good in the rear vision mirror, especially with those slightly oddly shaped headrests that are in that third row of seating, although you can remove them to increase your visibility a little bit more. The wing mirrors are nice and large, and there is also blind spot monitoring in those. In terms of materials in the cabin, well, we've got some nice soft touch stuff up here on the middle part of the dash, and sort of rubbery feeling stuff up on the very top there. No hard plastic really to report until we get down low in areas that you don't often touch anyway, so that's pretty good. An improvement over the regular LS. The LS Black has a sort of nicer material here on the door that's broken up with a line of stitching. The regular LS just had this big slab of black material and it looked awful. This just looks a bit better. One thing I don't like though is this carbon fiber print plastic here that feels very scratchy and cheap here on the armrest with the window controls. An interesting thing actually about the switchgear in this car, it actually comes from Nissan as well. So this car shares the same platform as the Nissan Pathfinder, the same engine, some of the same interior tech, and some of the same switchgear too, which actually is not a bad thing because the Nissan switchgear is actually a bit better than Mitsubishi's. It's not like the bad old days of the 80s and 90s when we had the button plan, which gave us such gems as the Ford Corsair, the Toyota Lexan, and the Nissan Ute. Although the Ford Laser was actually pretty good, I'll give it that. If you don't know what the button plan is, look it up on Wikipedia. Basically, one car rebadged as another. But I think the Outlander actually looks much better than the current generation of the Mitsubishi Pajero Sport. This car just feels a lot more well-balanced and a lot more sort of well-proportioned. And it's only a tiny bit smaller than the Pajero Sport. This is actually a very large mid-size SUV. Safety gear, same as the LS. There's blind spot monitors in the wing mirrors. There's forward collision alert and adaptive cruise control, which is actually a bit tricky to turn on. So around town, the Outlander feels very capable. It's a really nice, easy car to drive. It's probably not the most capable, especially in front-wheel drive configuration, SUV you're going to find. But in terms of taking kids to school and doing the shopping and stuff like that, it does everything you could possibly want it to do. And at $46,790, it is really good value. I'm actually quite a big fan of the Outlander. So if you need a good daily driving SUV to move your family and their stuff around, and maybe you want to attempt a little bit of light off-roading in the country sometime, this could be the four wheels in the seat for you.